Now Sean Payton going to say, let's go for 2 on this one. From the gun, it's Wilson. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he will dive into the end zone, and the 2-point conversion is successful. Well, I guess the opening drive touchdown wasn't enough. They wanted 2 instead of 1 on top of that.
Well, this team is obviously going for the crusher. All right, they don't want to mess around with just kicking the standard extra point and kind of letting you off the hook for giving up the touchdown. Now they want to really rub your face in it and say, guess what? We're going to be doing this all game long.
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So here come the Browns for their first drive on offense. Orchestrating the offense will be the top pick in the 2018 draft, and that's Baker Mayfield.
It was so interesting in the run-up to the draft to talk with different scouts. I got one to tell me that in his notes he wrote down, Mayfield, brash, happy-go-lucky, plays the same way, barely restrained improv act that frustrates opponents and sometimes his own coaches, but produces plenty of highlights. What do you think of that?
The first carry now. This is Johnson. And he'll work his way across the 30 to the 32. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. You often say that sort of opens the playbook now, 2nd and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
They'll operate from the 32-yard line here, 2nd and 3. Now a 2nd down throw for Mayfield. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. Charles, already trailing by touchdown early. This offense, how imperative is it for them to get points out of this drive?
Well, they feel like they have to go ahead and match because of what was already on the board against their defense. But I think even more so, you just want to avoid 3 and outs. You want to be able to stay on the field for a little while, let your defense catch their breath a little bit, even if you don't score any points.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well. So on 4th down, Britton Colquitt on to punt. This will be fielded at the 17. Whoosh. Oh, and now he bowls him over. Might have needed just one more block as it stands. 37-yard return. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. Now Wilson on 1st down. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
He will not go down.
Have to retape those ankles.
And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. 31 yards there and a 1st down.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
He pushes forward for maybe 3 down to the 6-yard line.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
this is going to be incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on third down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Third down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And this may be a big early turning point in this Super Bowl. They're going to go for it on fourth down here. They run. It's Kamara. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. A great effort there. His second touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Saints add on to their lead. He's showing the different ways he can hit you in this first quarter. One rushing, one receiving touchdown.
He's showing us he's not just a stereotype, isn't he? Not just a guy who carries the ball in the backfield, can get out into space, make plays with his hands downfield. That's a pretty good combination right there.
Defensively, you'd prefer to be going against the stereotype, wouldn't you?
At least you know where he is, right? That gives you a chance to get more people to him and get him on the ground.
And that's something you almost never see nowadays. When you fake it, you're at the 15-yard line on a PAT as opposed to just going for 2.
I'm sorry. I know they got it, and congratulations to them, but it's just not a good play. I mean, the risk-reward is really off the charts. Not in your favor. Run your offense out there. Put it on the 2-yard line if you want to go for 2. But I'll be darned. They ended up getting that one, didn't they?
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Browns offense heading back out to take possession. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Tackle is made by Cameron Jordan. A look now at the defensive starters for the Saints. Well, they were very strong in that victory from a week ago. And last week in that victory, they were pretty good. Probably a pretty easy film session, I would imagine.
And after a performance like that, so many people think you just roll into film, take your popcorn, kick back, and enjoy the show because they played well. I can just tell you from experience, after a win is when coaches come down on you harder because they want to emphasize all the mistakes that happen. Because you won, you're in a good mood. They want to bring you back to earth. Oftentimes you walk out of there and you ask your teammate, did we win last week?
So my assumption was wrong. I learned something.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue line it.
They go with Chubb on second down. And again, he's going to be stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one as it brings up a 3rd and 10.
And while there is no gain on that run, we do know coaches whose identity is rooted in taking it almost to the limit and then changing things up on you down the stretch. I think we're getting really close to that point in time, though, where the identity may have to go out the window, and they've got to go a little bit faster in order to try and win the game.
Set. Green 39. Green 30.
On 3rd down, Mayfield. And he's got his tight end in Njoku. And they work this well upfield across the 45. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
The goal for any offense versus a zone defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball in the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route.